Aquarius, it's that time of the month again, beginning of the month, where we take a look at your horoscope for the water bearer, the air sign of Aquarius, which you're born under. Notice the air sign transit of the moon through the ninth house, forming a beautiful triangular pattern here, what we call a grand trine, with your karmic point and these three planets in your sun sign now. They're going to continue there a while. However, Mercury, which has moved forward, is going to relieve you of some of the stress of the combined influence of these three planets in your sun sign. That will happen a little later when Mercury moves out of this area. Three planets in your sun sign, that's showing us a distinct focus on yourself. And three planets in the second house, which has to do with your finances and money. You see here on the 6th, some stresses occurring. Moon in the 11th house, another profit sector, challenging this area. Now, if you're in business, that sometimes means making some hard decisions about where you're, reallocating profits. Often it's tempting to take that money out yourself rather than putting it back into the business. So there we see the 8th and 9th transit of the moon with Pluto in the 12th house, expenses. That's the reallocation, maybe feeling a sense of loss. Feeling as being a little down here with the transit of the moon to Saturn. That's also a health aspect because the moon rules the 6th house of your horoscope. Do take care during this particular cycle. And when moon and Jupiter are together, there is the tendency to overdo things, to overwork, overcompensate. Moon Mercury makes you a little more curious, a little funny, a bit more fun times ahead when it transits out on the 11th, but then back into the game of money with the transit of the moon on Venus, Neptune, and the important one on the 14th, you'll see here is the new moon in the second house. So this shows us a distinct shift and intense focus around the new moon on making money, earning money, sorting out your finances. And then, as you can see, transiting new moon into this third house. Nice aspect to the 11th house. This third house is your negotiations. So it comes from this finance sector, punctuated also by that transit we mentioned earlier. See on the 15th, 16th, Mercury transits out of that first house. That relieves you of a lot of the pressure on yourself. Gives you a little more clarity in terms of your finances. Clarity that needs to be earned. Because here we see the sign of Pisces permanently on your second house. But when you've got Mercury, which is weak in the sign of Pisces, your decision making may not be up to par. So it's very, very important that you plan your work, plan your strategy more carefully. And that's likely to be better augmented by the transit of the Sun on the 20th here into 2021, actually, into the third house of negotiations and contracts. Venus follows shortly after on the 22nd. That's quite nice. Incidentally, too, I found a lot of horoscopes having Venus and Sun there in the third house indicate dancing and music. You've got Mars in the 5th, which is creativity. So if you want to take up playing an instrument, doing some ballroom dancing, some rumba, some even Zumba, that's a time for you to get your dancing shoes on and sweat it out a little bit. You notice there the moon on the 25th moving through your zone of relationships. This is an important phase because you notice as the moon is moving away, getting stronger in its new moon phase, it'll get stronger here in the angle. So relationships dominate on the 26th. Intimate matters and shared resources, finances, also a little bit of self-analysis, a bit of Freudian or Jungian psychology wouldn't go astray as the moon's transiting the 8th house on the 27th, 28th. Then you've got the full moon phase. Firstly, the full moon on the 29th in your 9th house, indicating journeys or at least some planning for that. And then Venus, 9th ruler, definitely a strong factor for travels and expanding your mental and physical horizons. The month finishes with the moon back there in the 10th house, debilitated in Scorpio, but gaining what we call a cancellation of debilitation by being in the angle. So that's strong and brings with it some new work practices that you're able to share with your employer. You can actually make an impact in your work environment. Don't feel for a moment that you are a victim with your hands tied. You can actually bring some creative ideas into how to better streamline the functions within the office, the methodologies of which you use to do your work. And that's going to hold you in good stead with your employers. Great way to finish the month. Positive and a lot of determination and initiative by Mars in the 5th. Very competitive as well. Take a look at astrology.com.au. I've got more there. I've written up the chronological order of the aspects. You can drop me a line here while you're at it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Leave me a note if you'd like me to make contact with you, if you'd like a personal reading or you've got some issues that this general reading doesn't address adequately. We can talk about that. And I'll see you here next month. Take care. Bye-bye.